I tell applicants when when we've interviewed for residency, and I've been in our residency interviews for, like on the interview day for a couple of years now. I tell interview applicants that there are basically four things that you can objectively compare programs based upon. And there are things that do not change. So they are location, operative volume, research volume, and culture. So location does not change. So the program at Rush is located in Chicago. The program is never going to move to Texas. So if you need to leave in Texas, you shouldn't come to Chicago. So that's one thing where I think that's immutable between programs, not going to change, easy to objectively compare. The second thing is surgical volume. So I think that's another thing that's difficult for programs to change. If you don't have a lot of cases, it takes years to build that. You have to have new referral sources, you have to have new operating rooms, you have to have new attendings. So that's something that's already built up here at Rush. I've done about 500 cases a year during my experience here. I'll graduate with well over 2,000 cases, and I think that's a critical thing. When you're objectively comparing programs, you should ask, how many cases did you do before you finished residency? The third thing is research. And that's something, again, that you can objectively compare based on numbers, based on where the studies were published. So when you go interview places, if you're interested in research, PubMed the residents, PubMed the attendings, figure out how many papers did you write, where did they go, what was your involvement with those studies, what did you learn during those studies. Again, if that's something that's not important to you, another important thing, no, I don't really want to do that much research, then you shouldn't go to a program that has a lot of research. So again, another thing that's not going to change likely during your residency tenure, because again, it takes a great deal of time to develop those resources and develop those skills. And another thing that can be compared objectively between programs. And the fourth thing is probably the hardest to really pin down, and that's the culture of a place. So I think that you can actually get a sense for that in a day. When you go interview to places, they'll run the interview day differently. You'll meet the attendings, they have different personalities. And those things really drive the personality of a program, which in my opinion becomes a rather unchanging aspect of an institution. So I think at Rush there's a couple of aspects of the culture of the program that are important. So I think this is a very ambitious place, it's a very hard-working place. It's a place where I think that we believe a lot in teamwork, we believe a lot in collaboration. These are things that are shared values between our department, shared values that really compose our culture. And if those are things that you also believe in, then this is a program you would probably be happy in.
I think the most important thing for me for a residency program was to not have to go in knowing what you want to do and only being able to do that. I think what Rush offers is an ability to come in knowing a little bit about orthopedics and what you think you like, and then having an opportunity to work with experts in every one of the fields, from hand to spine to sports to joint replacement, and working with the experts and learning the best ways of doing things in the operating rooms and in the clinics and how to interact with patients in each of those different specialties and the subtle nuances thereof. And the ability to do that with the best of the best really gives you an opportunity to figure out what you want to do and why you want to do it.
I feel truly that first and foremost, location is an important thing, because if you're not happy with where you're living, you're not going to be a happy resident. And the nice thing about Chicago is that it affords, all of the opportunities associated with, the largest metropolitan centers around the country, including access to, many major sports teams, cultural endeavors, endless, fine restaurants here in Chicago. The waterfront is awesome in the summertime. Endless festivals in the summer as well. But it does so in sort of an affordable manner. Most residents here in our program are able to, buy a condo and actually live pretty well by big city standards. And I think most people feel that they actually live much better than they might have anticipated they would coming into residency.
Yeah, I think living in Chicago is awesome. I grew up on the East Coast and always had a bit of an East Coast bias. I thought the only two cities in the world were Chicago and New York, and then Boston and New York. But then I was kind of introduced to Chicago over my research year here with Craig Della Valle, and it's an awesome city. It's very dynamic in the sense that if you want a downtown feel, you have downtown, you have River North. If you want to go to the beach, there's a beach here. So not only kind of a very diverse city, we have all the sports teams, some of which we take care of. I go to a number of sporting events. I think it's just an awesome city in terms of what it offers. regardless of what you're looking for, there's a little bit of everything here in Chicago, and that was huge for me because despite what people tell you, you do have free time during residency.
What I've found that I wasn't necessarily expecting is the mentorship. The mentorship here is second to none. While I'm going into a specific field within sports medicine, I can comfortably say that I have mentors in each of the departments here, and I've developed those relationships as I've gone on through the rotations. They really take an invested interest in you as an individual and as your development as a representative of this program, and as you go out into the real world in practice. And so the mentorship here has really made it valuable, made my experiences that much more valuable, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
The advice I'd give any incoming applicant is to be true to yourself and also be yourself. Coming here or any other place and pretending to be someone else isn't going to be advantageous for you or for the place that's choosing whether they want to have you or not. And also being true to yourself, deciding what your actual values are is very important.